There's a war going on in the heartland. It's all about ethanol, America's renewable fuel. But it comes with some problems. This is a story about our land, our water, our politics, and what goes into your gas tank. We're taking a look at the ethanol effect.
This program is made possible by grants from Jerry Young and from the Polk Family Fund. Additional support is provided by the Institute for Journalism and Natural Resources and by Mary Quilling.
This is the Chicagoland Speedway, built between some cornfields. I'm Energy and Environment reporter David Biello, and I'm off to the races. NASCAR, how American is this? Our story is about what goes into these gas tanks, and likely yours. It's ethanol. That's right, grain alcohol, America's renewable fuel made from corn. Generally speaking, 10% of what fills our gas tanks is ethanol, mixed with gasoline. On the NASCAR circuit, these cars run on even more ethanol, 15%. That's called E15.
NASCAR is one of the few places where actually our product can be part of the sport.
American Ethanol is a trade group that's a NASCAR sponsor.
NFL and NBA are great, but we're never going to be on that field or on the court where NASCAR, we're actually on the track with that driver, demonstrating our fuel.
You could say stock car racing owes its start to ethanol.
Art Brady spins, there's trouble!
Original NASCAR drivers like Junior Johnson mastered their driving techniques in the grain alcohol distribution business, running moonshine. Former NASCAR driver Richard Childress is a race team owner.
You got to have octane, and there's not a better octane booster, cleaner octane booster than corn ethanol.
What do you like about ethanol?
It's just better. The parts are cooler, the engines run cooler internally. It's so many advantages to run an E30 even over our E15 or E10 that everyone runs in their cars today. E15 is even better for our engines.
Childress says ethanol is the fuel of the future. But consider the past. Henry Ford built the Model T to run on corn ethanol or gasoline. It was the original flex fuel vehicle. Ah, flex fuel, a badge you may have noticed on some vehicles where you can drive on a fuel mix called E85, which is mostly ethanol. But with ethanol comes trade-offs. E85 costs less per gallon, but has 30% less energy than regular gasoline. That's a lot less gas mileage. And E85 can be hard to find, especially if you're not in the Midwest. The E15 promoted at the track is even harder to find, but the ethanol industry is working hard to change that. Austin Dillon drives the American Ethanol car number 3, the number Junior Johnson and Dale Earnhardt made famous.
So how do you think the fans react to kind of ethanol? And
Well, I think, our fan base is very loyal to the brands that we have on our cars each and every weekend, and when they see us with that green logo around the fuel cell and where it goes into the fuel, they start taking notice and I'm wondering what it's about.
Ethanol, made from abundant American corn. This isn't the sweet corn you eat on the cob dipped in butter. This is field corn. There's so much of it, and there's so much that can be done with it. We can use it for cattle feed, corn oil, corn flakes, corn sweetener, and ethanol.
so should everybody be driving around on E15?
I think it's great. It's great for the air we all breathe. It's better for that, number one. And number two, we don't have to have the dependency on foreign oil as much as we did. We've cut that dependency way down. We can't be sending our dollars over to countries that want to fight us. So that's where ethanol, corn ethanol, is good for our country.
And send them to the farmers instead.
Exactly.
Northeastern Nebraska, the fall harvest, the time Marv Steck has been working for all year.
It still amazes me that we can place the seed in the ground and all of a sudden here in 2 weeks it's coming up, and before you know it you can see it in rows, and all the way to a harvest like this, it's got to be a miracle.
Marv's grandfather settled here in the early 1900s. Steck's a third-generation farmer, with more generations following along.
How many acres you got?
About 5,000 acres.
How's this year been for corn?
Just a tremendous year. The yields are just unbelievably good. By far the best crop that we have ever raised, and probably be a few more years before we see one like it again.
Marv's corn will soon be ethanol. 10 years ago, less than 20% of U.S. corn was used for ethanol. Now it's 40%.